Hello everybody, it's Anzy and today I am here with my top 5 books of 2017 so far. Because it's been 6 months since the start of 2017, first of all, wow, has that flown by, like how on earth did that go by so quickly? I have no idea, but I thought I would explain to you which books I've been reading and loving this first 6 months of, what's it called? What's this called? Well, this first kind of ish 5-6 months of 2017. So I'll show you the front cover and read you the blurb basically and tell you why I loved it. So the first book, not in necessarily order which I read, but the first book that I have on my lap is How to Find Love in a Bookshop by Veronica Henry. Now this one I found, I'll read the blurb first. Amelia has just returned to her idyllic Cotswold hometown to rescue the family business. Nightingale Books is a dream come true for book lovers, but the best stories aren't just within the pages of the books she sells. Amelia's customers have their own tales to tell. There's the lady of the manor who is hiding a secret close to her heart, the single dad looking for books to share with his son, but who isn't quite what he seems, and the desperately shy chef trying to find the courage to talk to her crush. And as for Amelia's stories, can she keep the promise she made to her father and save Nightingale Books? Very good book. I've really enjoyed this because it keeps me on my toes. When I went to Cyprus back in February, I read this book and this book, which I'll talk about next, in a week. Because usually it's like I'll read loads of it in one day, then I won't go back to it for another couple of weeks. If anybody who knows me, they'll know that I don't read books like quickly, and that's why. It's because I read loads and then I just stop for ages and the book doesn't get finished. So I suppose that's why. I realise now there's actually 6 books because there's one over there as well that I forgot to grab. So there are 6 favourite books, but we'll just go with it anyways. This book I loved so much because it was so it had a lot of, it's very real and it's very, whereas before obviously I'm 14 now because I've just had my birthday. Yeah, I keep thinking I'm 13 because obviously I'm only 14, so I'm not going to be reading like adult books, but this is kind of like, I'm used to reading like teen novels, but this one's kind of more adult-like, and I found this very interesting and very good all round basically. Next book is Silence is Goldfish by, who's it by? Annabelle Pitcher. So that's a very nice cover, I have to say. It attracted me, I must say. Anyways, so I have a voice but it isn't mine. It used to say things so I'd fit in, to please my parents, to please my teachers. It used to tell the universe I was something I wasn't. It lied. 15-year-old Tess doesn't mean to become mute. At first she's just too shocked to speak, and who wouldn't be? Discovering your whole life has been a lie because your dad isn't your real father is a pretty big deal. When Tess sets out to find the truth of her identity, she uncovers a secret that could ruin multiple lives. But how can she ask for help when she's forgotten how to use her voice? Very good book. This, honestly, I'm a bit of a soppy person and I usually like reading romance novels and stuff. This isn't a romance novel. I mean, there's a tad bit, but I wouldn't really say it was like you're full on like snogging and love as in like, oh, I like him but does he like me back, or or whatever. So this was a very good book. It's kind of like, it keeps you on your toes the whole time. I really enjoyed this book and would definitely recommend it. The next book is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. This, a lot of you, I would not be surprised if you have already read it, but if you haven't, this is the blurb. Despite the tumour shrinking medical miracle that has brought her a few years, Hazel has never been anything but terminal, her final chapter inscribed upon diagnosis. But when a gorgeous plot twist named Augustus Waters suddenly appears in Cancer Kids support group, Hazel's story is about to be completely rewritten. Can't speak today, but we're just going to go with it. So I've also watched the film for this, and I can't exactly say which is better. I think possibly, I'm not too sure. I think they were both really good. This might go a little bit extra mile, but then because I have, well, because I think I have quite a good imagination. I can imagine things as they happen as I read them. But for those who don't, I think the film is very much sticks to the book, and I think it's a very good film as well. Back to the book. This is a really, really good book. I cried like actual tears, which I don't do often with books. And honestly, I was crying so much in a book, and that doesn't usually happen. So for this to actually make me physically cry, I think that's a darn good thing. And then when it all, because obviously in the film you've read the book already, so you know what's going to come up, you know what's happening next. So before it even happens, I'm there like, oh, it's going to happen, Mama. So obviously that's not my crying face. She says with a quick hopefully that nobody noticed. Anyways, so that's that book. Next book is Anzy by June Mottershead. This is a true story, and it's the real life story of my life at Chester Zoo. So basically, this is how Chester Zoo, that's the front cover by the way, this is how Chester Zoo came into the thing. Okay, so here's the blurb. When George Mottershead moved to the village of Upton by Chester in 1930 to realise his dream of opening a zoo without bars, his 4-year-old daughter June had no idea how extraordinary her life would become. Soon, her best friend was a chimpanzee called Mary. Lion cubs and parrots were vying for her attention in the kitchen, and finding a bear tucked up in bed was no more unusual than talking to a tapir about Granny's lemon curd. Pelican, penguin or polar bear, for June, they were simply family. Now, over 80 years since June first set foot in the echoing house, Chester Zoo has achieved worldwide renown. Here, in her enthralling memoir, June chronicles the heartbreak, the humour, the trials and triumphs, and above all the characters, both human and animal, who shaped her childhood. I'm actually going to Chester Zoo as a school trip in June, July, I don't know. It's some point. Oh, I'm going to drop the book then at some point. But honestly, this is a really, really good book. Again, I'm saying exactly the same for each book, but they're all really, really good. Obviously, they wouldn't be in my top 5 or top 6 as it is now, if they weren't. So I just really, really enjoy this book, and it's useful to see a nice insight of the beginnings of zoos and see how inspiring and see how much trouble other people go through, and seeing how much of a great life I've had so far. So thanks Mum and Dad for that, first of all. Gotta get that appreciation in. But yeah, this is a really, really good book. My dad actually went and read this after me, and he really enjoyed it as well. So yeah. Next book is All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. That's the front cover. Again, if you haven't read this, I would definitely read this. Now this is one of the books which I also like. This is one of the books that I didn't read and then stop reading and then read. This was like a read all in one go because I read it every single night because it was so good. So Theodore Finch wants to take his own life. Violet Markey is devastated by her sister's death. They meet on the ledge of the school bell tower, and so their story begins. It's only together they can be themselves. But as Violet's world grows, Finch's begins to shrink. Let's say the sentence again. But as Violet's world grows, Finch's begins to shrink. How far will Violet go to save the boy who she has come to love? Really, really good book, and it's a really, really good romance story. It's got all the typical things, I know, but like, I enjoy the books that you don't think, oh well, she has a crush on him, he has a crush on her, or like he has a crush on her, she doesn't like him, and then she begins to like him, and then like they end up together, and then they all get married and have kids, happily ever after, blah blah blah. This isn't that book. This is very much against stereotypes. I was like, what's the word? Stereotypes. This is against stereotypes, and it takes a twist at the end, which I really, really enjoy. I cried again, which shows it's a really good book. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this book as well. Would read it again. Next and final book is My Beautiful Struggle by Jordan Bone. Now, if you don't know, she's a YouTuber, but she was in a terrible accident when she was 15. She was, I'll read the thing to save me waffling on. So, age 15, Jordan was a happy-go-lucky girl, having fun with friends and loving life. In one fateful moment, everything changed. A car accident left her paralysed from the chest down and shocked her into deep depression. She was on the brink of giving up. But gradually, Jordan realised there is hope beyond utter devastation and life beyond disability. Painstakingly relearning how to apply her beloved makeup, Jordan began to rebuild her sense of self and empowerment. Her body may have been broken, but her spirit was not. Jordan is now a successful beauty blogger, and her journey of positivity inspires millions around the world. This is a very, very good book. I haven't finished it yet, as you can see the bookmark, but honestly, it's so... Again, it made me think about my life, how lucky I am to be who I am, how I can walk and run freely, how I can jump and run around at lunchtime with my friends and just play tag, or like, I don't know, the violent games that we come up with, just don't go there. I'm surprised I haven't broken a leg yet. But it just makes me really think about my life, and if you were to read this, I think it'd really make you think how privileged you are. It's really opened up my eyes to see how much I have, like, how kind of privileged, I don't want to use that word because I'm not in many ways, but how kind of privileged I am to be able to do all those things. And it's very, very inspiring, let's just say, and it makes me want to think, oh well, why aren't I doing this, why aren't I doing that, why am I doing this instead, I should be doing this. Well, you know, it just makes me think about how a lot of us take our lives for granted. That got a bit deep, didn't it? Yes, it did. Anyway, so that, as I said, was the final book. So, thank you for watching. Please leave your favourite, comment below, your favourite book or the book you're reading right now, or both if you're feeling a bit ambitious. And yeah, I shall see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Subscribe. Tweet me, follow me, at me on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Anzy_loveheart as per usual. And yeah, see you next week. Bye.